The truth is running in our blood. The answers are lying here within. Running in our blood. The answers are lying here within. Running in our blood. The answers are lying here within.
Welcome to the Markee Dragon Show. I'm Markee Dragon, also known as Marcus Eikenberry in real life, and how are y'all doing tonight? So, now that I have got all of my technical issues, I'm sure I'll find some new ones. Now that I've gotten all my computer technical issues ironed out, I am now able to do live shows again. And so this one is kind of the inaugural show with the new computer. And so I am looking forward to your calls. You can call me on Skype at markeedragon. It's all one word, Markee Dragon. And I will have you on the show. So the first thing I want to talk about tonight is how Star Wars The Old Republic just went free to play. In fact, it did so last night at 6 o'clock. And there's been a lot of bitching, which was brought to my attention by James on our Facebook page. And this complaining is about how, well, let me read some of this to you of what he said. What he said was, he spent a lot of time listening to and debating with and ignoring the free players returning to the game. These people want to play the game 100% free with 100% of the content, no restrictions. Not all, of course, but noticeably enough. So he says that when he played City of Heroes, that he didn't always have money for his subscription. And so sometimes he had to tell his friends, hey, I just can't play today, and everything. And he wants to know what I think about actually the fact that that so many people are able to play for free, and they are complaining about their status in the game. Status being, you know, that they are not able to do 100% of everything that everyone else is able to do who's paying a subscription or buying. I think that they have BioWare points now that have just been released. And so, you know, James brings up a really good point that it's really not appropriate for them to be complaining. And the reason for that is that, you know, who the hell is paying for the game? Do you think that these people work for free to make the game, and then, you know, they, you know, I don't know. I don't get it. So, you know, you can't expect something for free, something for nothing. And as my friend in World of Tanks says, Victor Kisley, he says that the freebie players are just good cannon fodder, which means there's something to shoot at. So, anyway, you know, all of those free players are very required in the game. And they're required in the game because, you know, they've changed to this style of free-to-play. And so now everybody can get in and try it, which is really great. But you can't expect to have everything. So, okay, so, you know, feel free to give me a call, Markee Dragon, and it's on Skype. You can add me as a friend if you want. And, by the way, those of you who know that I got my Skype account hacked, along with some other people who, along with some other people who are in the video game industry like I am, YouTubers. I got lucky. They just changed me to Hamburglar. Like Athene wasn't so lucky, they changed him into a dildo. So, okay, we got our first caller coming in. I'm going to answer, and we're going to see how this works out. Hello, you are on the air.
Hey, Markee.
Hi, do you have video, or are you just audio only?
I have video. Hold on, let me get my camera set up real quick.
Okay. Okay. So, I see a picture about to come in, and I apologize you can't see me here. That's because the camera's being used to broadcast this live. So, yeah. Okay, so those of you who are watching, can you tell me how the volume sounds? Because I think he might be a little bit loud, although it might be just perfect. And so, okay, give me just a second here, and I'm going to bring your image up onto the live stream. Get that set up for the first time here. Okay. And okay. So, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah. So, what is on your mind?
I was just thinking about how you were talking about the Knights of the Old Republic going free to play, and I think that's it's a good idea, but it has to be, enacted correctly.
And so you think that they haven't done it correctly so far?
Personally, I'm a person who I don't like restrictions. I like being able to play the entire game just like everybody else can, and the restrictions part of the game is annoying, but you can look around it.
Mm-hmm. So, let me ask you a question. Are you currently a paid subscriber?
No, not at the moment. I pay for Eve. I don't have enough money to pay for both.
Yeah. So, have you been back into into Star Wars since last night when they went free?
No. But I've had a lot of my friends call me, and they're telling me to get back on, and they've been explaining the restrictions to me, and I just I haven't had the chance to actually download it myself.
So it going free wasn't a draw enough for you to hop right in there.
I'll probably download it tonight, but I don't like slowing down my computer while I'm doing stuff, which is usually World of Tanks or Eve, and in a PvP situation in Eve, you don't like getting slowed down.
Yeah. So tell me, what do you do in Eve Online?
I am currently a wormholer. I stay on wormholes most of my time, make lots of viskies, and blow up anybody I can possibly kill.
Yes. So does that take a fast ship, or does that take a real beefy ship, or?
In Wormhole, it's really unique compared to everywhere else, because you have to consider the mass of the wormhole you're jumping through it, and you have to consider what everybody else might be bringing, because if you bring too much, you can pop the wormhole, then you're stuck in a hostile wormhole with everybody else, and you have to have enough to where you can still combat anything they bring at you. And it's also, if you're going into somebody's home system, they have as much resources as they have stationed in the system at the time, which makes it very unique. We're really mostly a defensive corporation, and we usually attack anybody who comes into our system. We'll chase them back to their system. But usually I'm using a Zealot, which is a Tech 2 heavy assault cruiser. It's armor and it has lasers and stuff like that. And we could go anything from, frigate up to battleship, but we're only in a C2, so we can't actually have capital ships in there, which is it's an advantage and it's a disadvantage. It's an advantage because we also can't have anybody else come into our system with capital ship, which is really cool. But it's a disadvantage as in we're not going to be running large C5 sites that make billions and billions of ISK in a night. So,
how do you feel about the competition that is going on right now? And it was Somer Blink who gave, what did they give, 10 billion ISK to each one of the contestants? Did you hear about that?
I didn't hear about that.
Okay. I thought it was pretty interesting. So, okay, well, thank you for your call. I appreciate it.
Yeah, anytime, Markee.
Yep, you take care.
YouTube.
Okay, so that was interesting. Now I understand I'm seeing some chat going on in the comments saying that even that no one can find me on Skype. Oh my. After being hacked, that may be an issue, huh? So, let's see here. I wonder if I'm going to go to my Skype account and I'm going to see what it says for actually how you guys can find me, because previously it was always my name, but apparently with having been hacked, I was wondering why nobody was calling in. Nobody was adding me or anything like that. So okay, it says Skype name is markeedragon, MarkeeDragon, which is so it looks like I wonder if I can add my public profile to something like the description. And oh, I see here. I see the error. The error in my ways. After they changed all my stuff, I had to put in my real name again, and instead of having I had Marcus Eichenberry as my first name. Yeah, so my mistake. Okay, so you can I've just saved that, and it can hopefully be searched now. I'll know when I see new requests. So okay, and I don't know. I'm trying to look here to see if I can find what my public profile is, if there's an actual link to it. I'm not 100% sure of that. And we have our public and private stuff on here. So doesn't oh, there we go. Whole bunch of contact requests. Clumsy me, huh? Okay, so I am adding, and feel free to do a video call in. I prefer video. I will take audio, but I prefer video, so take the time to set up your video camera real quick. It just makes the show just a little bit more interesting than just me talking in front of the camera. So, okay. Here we go. Hey there.
Hey, how you doing, Marcus?
I'm doing well. I recognize you.
Mm-hmm. I'm the guy with the bad internet.
The guy with the bad internet. Yes. Let's see. We had you on the show once before, didn't we?
Yes.
Okay. And
actually, I have XSplit running.
Oh yeah.
I should probably set it so that it's not running through XSplit, shouldn't I?
Well, it is. You actually look fine.
Oh, I do.
So
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Great.
So, and remind me now, you're a YouTuber as well, aren't you?
Yeah, I am a small-time YouTuber.
So, go ahead and give a shout-out to your channel.
My channel name on YouTube is Panamanana, which is panda, and then manana, similar to the word in Spanish for tomorrow, mañana. It's difficult to tell people how to spell it, but I usually do video game stuff. I used to, it used to be my main channel, so I had a lot of variety stuff, but I split my channel into two for my personal vlogs and for my video game stuff. So if you go to Panamanetta, you're only going to find video game discussion and question videos.
So what's on your mind today?
Well, I was listening to you talk about Swtor, and I thought I would chime in with my 2 cents, because I've actually had a lot of conversations with other gamers about the Swtor problem.
So you actually see it as a problem?
Well, no. I think the free-to-play is the response to the problem.
Mm-hmm.
The problem was that they had a lot of people unsubscribing and just a general feeling in the community of disappointment. And I don't necessarily subscribe to the idea that Swtor was a failure, but a lot of people do. And BioWare responded by going free-to-play.
Mm-hmm.
And a good friend of mine, his name is, his internet alias is Crime Endorsement, and he
awesome.
he's a very nice guy. But his idea, his thought process was that the people that pay for things in free-to-play games are kind of are literally paying for the free-to-play players to play, and he was upset about that. But I sort of disagreed with him, just because of the way that free-to-play works. Obviously that's true. As you said before, they have to get paid one way or another. But I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. But I do think that thinking that free-to-play is the solution is the bad thing, if that is an articulate sentence.
Okay, so you think this is a bad move on their part?
Yeah, I do.
And so what is that? I mean, what is that based off of?
Well, I just think that the MMO market, if you don't come at free to play in the MMO market right off the bat, I feel like it's a very sloppy and slippery process of going into free to play. I feel like taking a buy to play subscription based MMO and then turning it into a free to play game is a whole lot more difficult, and in the end creates a worse product than if you just simply started as free to play. Because although I do argue against free to play in a lot of instances, I think it can be a healthy model for a game. I just don't really see how this could be beneficial for the community. I'm sure it's beneficial for BioWare, but
well, if the game has such high overhead, it was one of the most expensive MMOs ever made, and the game has probably a pretty high overhead, and if they didn't change to a model that hopefully could bring in more money, then the game may just go away.
That's absolutely true. You're right. But I also feel like that's definitely the financial answer. Considering the benefits of free to play, bringing in players, bringing back players that might have left due to the subscription cost. But I also feel like it's almost a cop-out. Like, people had some fairly legitimate concerns with the game, which made them leave. And I feel like at least starting off by addressing those problems would have been a better approach, rather than simply dropping everything and going free to play.
Okay.
And I'm sure they did solve some problems, but
do you feel like the fact that they went free to play harms the players who are paying and who have been in there all along?
I feel like it harms their ego, sure, but I really don't think it harms them necessarily. It might annoy them. It might show that Swtor just simply isn't the game for them anymore, because it is a big new direction for the game. But if you're at least a little bit familiar with free-to-play games, it should be an easy enough transition. I'm not completely versed in the Swtor universe. Is there some sort of payment model alternative to the free-to-play, so that current subscribers, can go into a similar model that they used to have while the game is still free-to-play?
I understand there's some benefit to being a subscriber, but I don't know what it is.
Okay, so you can still subscribe.
Yeah, and I understand that they have released BioWare points now.
Oh, okay.
So I've seen those both Europe and US.
Okay.
So, and it went free to play across the board.
Yes.
So, I encountered something like this not too long ago, where this is kind of a wild analogy, but yesterday I was making, or I got a bill for my insurance for my motorcycle, and I was surprised because my policy went up, the payment went up by more than 40%.
Oh, Jesus.
And from moving. So I moved into Florida from Mississippi.
Yeah.
And so when I called them, I said, hey, what's the deal here? Why? I didn't move to an area that's a whole lot different. I'm not in the middle of a city. There's not a lot of stolen cars in my neighborhood. I mean, I live really on the edge of the country here. I can go 2 blocks and be tipping cows.
Yeah.
But what they told me is that because the state of Florida allows motorcyclists to not have insurance, so motorcycles do not have to be insured here in the state of Florida. Because of that, my costs for uninsured motorists are way up. And so, I think of this, what made me think of that is because, so I'm paying for all these people who are not paying.
Yeah.
And so I wondered if that equates back to a game that's free to play at all. Does that same thing happen there? Does it penalize the people who are actually paying?
I don't think it necessarily does, considering the players who are currently paying in a free-to-play game, to a certain extent, get to choose how much they're paying. But you're right in a certain sense. You are right that the payers, as you may call them, are paying for the free-to-play players. I don't necessarily think it's a negative thing, though.
Mm-hmm.
I think that free-to-play overall is a negative thing for the video game community. But I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing for currently paying players of free-to-play games.
So let's get off the subject of Star Wars. And now you say overall you think that free-to-play is bad?
Yeah.
Why?
It's a great model financially. Of course, it brings in tons of players. Look at League of Legends, going from an almost unknown game, and 2 years later, even more popular than something like World of Warcraft.
Mm-hmm.
It's unarguably a very, very successful business model. But I think that it definitely it tries to it unfortunately helps build this kind of this community, or this let's call it like a subsection of the video game community that jumps from game to game.
Mm-hmm.
And since free-to-play games are very easy to get into and get out of, without ever even doing anything, players, instead of sticking with a game and putting money into it and helping the developers, they're simply jumping from game to game, whichever piques their interest that week. It tries to it builds up this flavor of the month kind of mentality within the video game community, and I think that's overall negative.
But isn't it a fact that each generation since the millennials have a short attention span, and maybe all of you just don't have the ability to stick with the game.
I don't know. I can't speak for my generation for sure, but I remember when people used to just play games and have their games that they played, and now for instance, I play Warcraft 3, not the not World of Warcraft, but the RTS that came out prior to it, and I've played that since its release, very, very frequently, and that's my game. I love that game through and through. And as I cover video game news and video game stuff, I see more and more that people get really excited about a game, and then they, if some tiny little thing is wrong with it, or some tiny little thing they disagree with, they completely turn tail and start, lambasting the game and calling out the developers. I just feel like free-to-play encourages this kind of behavior because of how easy it is to get into and get out of. Of course, that's also beneficial because it builds the community, but I also feel like it can be negative in that that same community can just as easily leave.
It could also be a side effect of the fact that that there is just a plethora of game choices out there right now. And so, you know, there's, I guess that, you know, maybe 100 years ago when people went shoe shopping, you know, you'd walk in, you'd have this black model or this black model. One might have a little bit more of a heel or something like that. And, you know, there wasn't really a whole lot of choice. And nowadays, when you go shopping for shoes, you probably, you know, if you walk into any Foot Locker or someplace like that, you have a couple hundred shoes to choose from. And those are just tennis shoes, you know. And so it allows us to be a lot more picky and find the exact right fit for you. Both in what, you know, feels comfortable and what you know, looks good to you. And that's where we're at with the video game industry, I believe.
I could agree with you. I mean, there are a lot of options, but I also, I mean, I don't think that necessarily gives an excuse for that kind of behavior. I mean, just because, in fact, having more options should mean that it would be easier to find the game you like. But instead, people seem to... I think I'm getting a little off topic.
Well,
because that's a little more, you know, this whole jumping from game to game is a little bit more general, and free-to-play is just a little tiny addition to it. But overall, I think free-to-play is great, but it really depends on what kind of game it's in. For instance, since I played War...
Uh-oh. Maybe we lost him. Internet connection problems. Hold on. It says, hold on while we try and get him back.
Uh-oh.
Oh, there we go. Okay. Maybe you're back now.
Sorry. Am I back?
Yeah, well, I hear you at least.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah. So, okay.
Sorry, I really apologize. Okay, well, I guess I should go back to what I was saying. As part of the Warcraft 3 community, I got to watch as the MOBA genre, as we may call it, grow. And then League of Legends came out and revolutionized what we think about free-to-play games. It really showed us a model in which free-to-play can be widely successful and, you know, obviously financially beneficial. But I feel like that kind of game really isn't conducive to the free-to-play model as much as, say, a MMO might be or a first-person shooter like Tribes Ascend. I mean, that's just because of the competitive nature of these games. Yeah. And I'm actually currently watching fighting games a lot, like, you know, Street Fighter and those kind of games. And a lot of people in that community are talking about free-to-play and how that may affect their games. And it's almost like the same thing is happening within that community. Because in the MOBA community, before it was really popular, everybody had access to everything. And that created a very strict meta, very strict competitive atmosphere in which people had options and counter-options. And then League of Legends came out. And as financially successful as that game is, some players don't have the options of other players. And this gets into the whole buy-to-play argument. And
you mean pay-to-win?
Oh, yeah. You know what I'm talking about. I misspoke. Excuse me. But I feel like the pay-to-win argument is trivialized by some genres. Some genres work really well for free-to-play. And it really all stems down to whether a thing that you're paying for is an option or an upgrade. So you look at something like Tribes Ascend, although it does have upgrading mechanics, you also pay for different classes or different guns. And those are simply options. One necessarily isn't better than another. Whereas in League of Legends, you have things that affect your stats in game that other players don't have access to, and just the whole nature of free to play, I don't really feel works with that kind of genre.
Okay, well, I think we could go on all night about that.
I know I could, but that's why I have a YouTube channel, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you so much for having me on, Marcus.
Yeah, and it's Panana Mana?
Panda Manana.
Panda Manana.
However you want to pronounce it.
So post a comment in the stream, and that way people can click on your name there and find your channel.
Sure thing. Thanks, Marcus.
Okay, take care.
Have a nice day.
Okay, well, that's cool. So, yeah, he's commented several times on much of my stuff. Okay, well, we're going to try another caller here. Howdy, howdy.
Hey there.
Okay, can you turn off the audio on the stream?
Yes, I just did.
Okay, so, and introduce yourself.
I'm Vincent. On my YouTube is Vast Retribution, VHASTRTIBUTION, and I'm 13 years old and I live in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Cool. And so you're a YouTuber?
Yes.
Awesome. So what's on your mind tonight?
I actually want to talk to you about. I actually talked to your hacker.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I talked to someone that was running your Facebook page about it, and when you logged on, I was going to ask you about your hexa-core processor and where you bought that from, and then I saw that your picture was changed to a hamburger, and then I typed nice picture in chat thinking it was actually you, and then he replied with thank you with a smiley face, and then 5 minutes later he called me with another one of your fans. I don't know his name, and he was talking about how like you shouldn't be doing this and you were a nice guy, and for about 10 minutes I was just listening to this guy talk with one of your other fans about hacking your account, and he eventually left after about 15 minutes and changed to Hamburglar like you mentioned earlier in the stream,
right? And
blocked everyone because he was talking about a mass block of all your contacts and how much you had, and it was interesting listening to him. I thought he was a practical joke, to be honest, and that's why I really never thought anything about it until you posted that video, and then I realized that it was real and that actually happened.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of people were affected by that. I was lucky.
Lucky to be hacked. Yeah.
Well, no, not lucky to be hacked, but lucky that I didn't have my account deleted or something like that. So
well, he must have watched you because he was talking about like he knew your channel.
Mm-hmm.
So he's not just some troll. I think he was an actual fan of you. And I believe I saw the guy that was in the conversation, the three-way call on Skype, on the stream. I forgot his name. Here, let me see in my recent. Roxas. I can't pronounce his last name, but it starts with a V. And I saw him in chat on the stream as well.
Yeah,
so
well, he may have just called other people that were on my account. So,
yeah, but he was in the call with me, but he was only on for about 20 minutes until he logged off.
Got bored, I'm sure.
He just changed everything and then logged off.
Yeah. So what do you do on your YouTube channel?
Just gameplays, whatever I really feel like posting on there. Mostly gameplays, though.
Mm-hmm.
I started off originally with just reviews of everything, and that was back in 2009. And I was actually very young at the time. I think I was 10 when I started my first my YouTube channel that I still have now. But I really didn't like the name that I had, so I figured a way out of YouTube's. You can't change your username. You could actually connect it with your Google Plus account and use your username as your username on YouTube, like your name on your Google Plus account on YouTube. And I changed it to the username I wanted on Google Plus, connected that account, so now my YouTube name, instead of Uncharted, is now Vast Retribution.
Yeah, that's cool. That's very creative. So,
yeah.
so being so young, what do your parents think about you being on YouTube and calling into shows like this?
Actually, I told my dad about you. He thinks you're very interesting. I showed him a few of your videos, and they're actually surprised because one of my YouTube videos mini viral. It was Hidden Blades from Assassin's Creed. It was a replica that I had, and I posted that on YouTube. A review. It was like 9 minutes. It got 500,000 views. It's now 500,000 views in 3 years.
Wow.
that I got my YouTube partnership from that, actually. YouTube contacted me saying that we want to mentonize that one video. This was before they changed their mentionization property or policies, where anyone can sign up now and get a partnership. But that's how I originally got my partnership, through YouTube. They contacted me on email, and then eventually just mentionized that one video. And then I eventually contacted them, and then they gave me mentionization for all of my videos. So now, any type of post a video, I now get money from them.
Yeah, cool. Cool. So, 13, you're well on your way.
Yeah, I hope my YouTube channel gets bigger, but
yeah,
never know what's going to happen with the internet.
Yeah. So, spell out your YouTube channel for everybody so they can go find it if they want to.
VHASTRETRIBUTIN. Vast Retribution.
Okay, cool. Well, I appreciate your call, and thank you very much.
Welcome.
Take care. Okay, so, cool. How about that? He actually spoke to my hacker. Yes, well, you know, the hacking, you know, is... Hey, here's somebody I know. Hello, James.
Hey, Marcus.
How are you?
Good.
So, did you know that you're calling into the live show?
Yes, I knew that. I was going to remark, I mean, I usually listen in and, you know, you talk on a lot of topics that I enjoy, and I was just thinking if we could, I didn't know it was delayed, though, like that the actual show is delayed. I was going to introduce you to some parts in Tampa, like you hadn't been maybe to.
Yeah. So, and you had contacted me the other day saying that we should do a little get-together here in Tampa at some beer garden.
Yeah. It's Mr. Dunderbox.
I think that's a great idea. And so is this going to be something that's open to anybody who wants to come?
Yeah. I mean,
now that we're talking about it on air.
Yeah, it's one of those places that beer snobs will love. It's got like a selection of all types of beers. It's got oh geez, it even has like lambics. If any of the beer snobs out there knows what those are, it's just got a great panacea of options. I mean, they even have meads there sometimes.
Oh, mead! I've only had mead once. I went to Ultima X Odyssey's press introduction in San Francisco, and they had everybody out there in their get-ups, their medieval get-ups. Oh, hey, you've got a camera too.
Oh yeah, I didn't think to activate it. I clicked call.
Okay, so
you can put me on. I actually do have a question about gaming and what you thought about it.
Okay, well, so before we get to that, though, so for those of you who are interested in meeting up with us, I'm sure it'll be sometime here soon. You can give me a friend request or subscribe to my Facebook, which is Facebook.com/MarkeeDragon, or to our Markee Dragon Game Codes one, and I will post the info there when we have it squared away of when we're going to meet up. So here in the Tampa area. So, okay, James, so what's your question?
My question is this. What do you think about this move towards digital distribution? There's been a lot of discussion about digital distribution as like a primary means of selling games these days. I think there's something taken away from the process in this. And that's, you know, having a copy that's local, that you could administrate, that you can make multiple copies. With platforms like Steam, it's like you really can't easily make backups. I mean, you can back up, but you're always going to be tied to using Steam as a platform.
So
I kind of like this idea that there was a time when you could buy a game like XCOM, like for original DOS platform. You could have that floppy. It was a complete game there. And you can archive that game, take it to any computer, plug it in, install it, and then you have access to it. I see that along with e-readers and PDF versions of books now, there's something lost in the process. Like, you can no longer tangibly hold the book, read.
They're not tactile.
Yeah, they're not very tactile. I think that it would be nice if there were gaming companies that could maybe return to, or at least support, physical distribution, and maybe releasing anthologies of games that they had on platforms like Steam, so that for people who don't have access to the internet, or people who, you know, go up to like a log cabin or something and they have a PC there, but they could still enjoy the games in the older format.
Yeah, all of them call home nowadays, though. Almost every game that I know of that's coming out calls home on the internet.
Yeah, and I think that that's going to be something that's going to be a bit of a challenge as time goes on, because these servers, these authentication servers that keep those authentication checks online, those are going to go down eventually. So you're going to have games that are going to have unsupported activation checks, inevitably. And
so then we won't be able to get to those games, will we?
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, people talk about scenarios like Steam being lost. Like, what happens if Gabe Newell, you know, unfortunately, you know, hands over the company to somebody? He's said repeatedly that he wouldn't. But if Valve changes its business model or practice or gets bought out, what becomes of our games is a huge issue there. So I guess what I'm trying to get at is, I like this idea of immortalizing games. So having them in physical copies, having them unreliant on activation servers, so that they could be enjoyed, you know, for future generations. I mean, XCOM is a perfect example. I've thoroughly enjoyed the new XCOM reboot by Firaxis. But the original, I mean, they were selling this on Steam from 1992. You could have the CDs from XCOM and still enjoy it. I think that we're kind of doing a disservice in putting too much faith in digital distribution. That all said, I mean, I have a Steam account with like nearly 600 games on it, but
yeah. Well, let me ask you something else here. Do you ever buy music?
Yeah, I do, and I buy it on vinyl, actually.
Oh my God. Okay, that's not a good example. So, because music has gone the same way, actually. You know, with MP3s and everything, and they've gotten them down to, you know, a size that can be transmitted quite well over the internet. And it's not like video games. A lot of them had to be done on CD or discs or whatever, because we didn't have the means to transmit them efficiently. And so, you know, I see. In fact, like movies and stuff. I was in Walmart the other day. Don't tell anybody. But I was in Walmart the other day, and they had a whole bunch of Blu-ray movies at $7 each. And I thought, hey, that's pretty crazy, because when Blu-rays came out, I was paying like $30 each for them. And that was only a few years ago. And but the fact is that even at $7, I'm not willing to buy it. Not when I can just watch it on Netflix, or you know, I can do like Amazon. You know, I can order movies on Amazon and just have them streamed to me and everything. And you know, I do worry about losing access to them. But at the same time, you know, I thought to myself, okay, how many of these movies that I bought that I actually had the DVDs, how many of them did I actually go back and watch again? And it's only been a few of them. So it's really only a few of them that mattered. And so, you know, if I have like a movie that I'd be really interested in watching over and over again, then I'd probably get it on DVD or Blu-ray or whatever. And the same could be said for a game. I have noticed, you know, the last couple of games that I've been involved with their launch have been digital. I was really surprised, and I don't know if I have the map here. I don't know where I put it. But, you know, I did the alpha testing for Ultima Forever, and I was really surprised when they sent me something physical. and they actually sent me these cards here, and it's just a small deck of tarot cards, but I was like, wow, they actually took the time to print something. You know, I found it to be very rare. So, you know, I have back on my shelves up here, I have my World of Warcraft, you know, collector's editions from the different ones I bought and stuff. But, you know, as time goes on, it's going to get smaller and smaller. And in fact, I predict that even in like game shops and stuff, that you know, you're going to buy your games in a blister pack, or in a you know, with the latest Diablo. You could buy it as a card, you scratch it off, you go put in the thing, and it had there's nothing there of value on the card. You could have just bought that code anywhere. So I do think it's going that direction, and I think that there's nothing we can do about it. And as long as us lemmings aren't all jumping off at once and still hand over our dollars, they'll keep going down this path.
I think as just a kind of last thoughts on the issue, there is always going to be that issue of like whether or not we have something that's able to be preserved. There is, I grant it, like a lot of convenience, like with digital distribution, and that's why people are the lemmings that they are, because, you know, it's as easy as just entering in some credit card information and then suddenly you have a game. But again, I mean, with my return to vinyl, it's something that I feel is non-analog or non-digital, analog. It's something that actually has something there to be preserved, and I think that some really great games do deserve preservation.
Yeah. Well, I agree with you, but I think that at the same time, society does not hold the same values as a whole. And so it'll go the way that society moves, whether we like it or not. So,
Yep.
Okay.
Good thoughts all around.
Yes,
and
well,
I look forward to seeing you, Marcus, and anybody else out there who'd be interested to join us.
Yes, well, give me a holler this weekend. And
will do.
We will get things set up, and for those of you who are watching, thanks, James, by the way.
Yes.
For those of you who are watching and are in the Tampa area, Tampa, Florida, you'll be welcome to join us. So, okay, I think we got time for one more call. So, who shall it be? It's open right now. There's nobody on the line. Could be you. So, and here we go. It is, let's see here. Hello, Mr. Are You a Wizard? Hello? Are you there? Okay, well, we'll try that again. Let's see here. Hello, Wes. You are on the air.
Hey, what's up? This is Shadow from World of Tanks.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we've talked to you once before on one of the live shows.
Yeah, I was just seeing how you were doing on World of Tanks yourself, really.
Well, I just today got my 5th heavy.
Ooh, nice.
And that video, I don't know, it was like an hour and 45 minutes of recording time, and so it's going to be like a 10 gig upload.
Wow.
Gonna have to do that one overnight.
yeah, that's a big one right there.
So, tell us about how you are doing in World of Tanks.
I'm actually doing pretty well. I'm still working on getting an actual Tier 8 heavy tank. I actually recently bought about 2 weeks ago during their discount the IS-6 heavy tank, the big premium Tier 8 heavy tank. And that one's a beast. It's definitely, it's very low profile. That's why I liked it. It was low profile, had a big gun on it, and it's pretty fast for a heavy. So,
tell me, so how do you make your money in the game? What's your best method for making credits in the game?
Before that is really working with the lower tier premiums, like the tier 5 premiums. I have actually 3 of those, so I'd usually work those a little bit. I'd probably get around, if it's good times, it's like 20,000 credits per match.
Mm-hmm. And what's the difference between premium tank and another tank that you earned instead of bought, as far as making money with it? Why is it better to use a premium tank?
Well, the premium tanks actually have they have a lower repair cost. It usually varies, I guess, between what tier it is, but it's usually what I've seen is it's at least half of a regular tank's repair cost during that time. It also generates a little more per match. I'm not sure exactly the percentages, but I've seen it like maybe like 5,000 more credits than a regular tank would on an average match. But,
yeah, I can tell you that I have a couple of premium tanks. I have they're both tier 8, and when I need credits, then I hop onto those. I was able to make 800,000 credits in one gaming session the other day with my Jad Tiger 8.8. So, yeah. Okay, well, I think that's all the time we got today for the show. So, Wes, I appreciate your call, and you and I will play again sometime soon in the game.
I look forward to it.
Okay, take care.
All right, you too.
Okay, so I think that is it for the call-ins tonight. I am happy to be back on the air after rebuilding my computer, which those of you who've been watching the series of me just talking about my computer while I'm working on it and everything, it's a very long series. There's a playlist for that, and you can start all the way from the beginning and watch it all the way through the end. The last video in that series of that computer will be a breakdown of all of the parts that I have in it and what it would cost to build it, and so that you can kind of compare to see whether or not you can build yourself a monster like this. In fact, I had to name my computer, and it's a hexacore processor, and I named it Hexamonster. Sounded good to me, so that's what its name is on the network. Now that I've got my Skype account back too, it's good. I still see people saying that they're having some trouble with adding me on Skype. Well, I think that next time what I'll do is I'll figure out some sort of public profile that I can post a link in the description so that you'll all be able to find me, or I'll make sure that whatever is searchable, it may be a fact of that I just changed my name yesterday on the day before it got changed for me to Hamburglar, and then I just changed my name back to markeedragon, and so I appreciate those of you who called in. For those of you who tried, but I didn't get to answer, I apologize, and hopefully you can join us the next time. So that's it for tonight. I'm markeedragon. Take care.
If you made it this far in the video, you may as well subscribe. That's what I want you to do. You obviously liked it well enough to watch it this far. So look at this. This is Frostmourne. This is a Runes Magic Sword. This Runes Magic Sword is one that we're giving away as second prize to one of you subscribers just for being subscribed. That's all you have to do. Subscribe and accept our messages, or watch our videos where we draw for prizes. So this one is it's a really nice sword. It's signed by some of the American staff for Runes of Magic. And then there's the big boy here. I got it on my shoulder because it's so darn heavy. You know, this sucker is 16 pounds. Look at this. So, it's a two-handed sword here, man. This is a beautiful sword. And we're giving this away when we hit 42,500 subscribers. It could be you. So, just subscribe, that's all you have to do. We'll do videos selecting the winners, and we'll send you a message in YouTube as long as you accept it. Just make sure you accept messages from us. To do that, put us on your contact list. And you just add markeedragon to your contact list, and then you'll be able to get messages from us, and you'll have 30 days to get back to us when we send you a message. Or, if we can't message you, you'll just be on video, and you just gotta watch the video and then contact us. So, anyway, if you made it this far, you really should subscribe, and I would appreciate it. So, anyway, that's all.
The truth is running in our blood. The answers are lying here within. Running in our blood. The answers are lying here within.